All right, I'm ready.
All right.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of the Son of Frankenstein.
This one is probably just as bad as his father. Good morning, son.
Well, hello.
My son, you have inherited the fortune of the Frankensteins. I trust you will not inherit their fate.
By heaven, I think you're a worse fiend than your father. What are you gonna do about it? There's a monster afoot and you know it.
Well, we warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I am Tom Lang.
And I'm Bill Evenson, and you join us for minute 22 of Universal's 1939 film, Roland V. Lee Son of Frankenstein.
Right.
He's pointing. I got it wrong. Sorry, I'm distracted because Felicity added a photo in the Frankenstein Minute.
Oh, did
Village.
she? What?
It's a picture of the Wolfman and Frankenstein. That's Frankenstein there with the bolts.
That's not Frankenstein.
Wolfman says, knock, knock. Frankenstein says,
monster.
Who's there? Wolfman says, ah. And Frankenstein says, ah-hoo. And then the Werewolf of London says, Werewolves of London. So I'm going to like that, and it'll actually pretty good. There's one like already, but it's not a like. It's the sad crying face.
Who did that?
Patreon Jason Tucker. That's pretty good.
Nice.
So I'm going to laugh on that one.
Jason comes through. Laugh at his sad face.
That picture made him sad.
That's delightful.
The sad thing is she posted that a month ago, right? Because we're recording these in advance.
Yeah.
So she won't even remember.
This is long gone.
Nobody has any idea what's going on.
12 posts that have been ignored since then.
Yes.
The inspector has been introduced to Elsa.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just every once in a while, what we're doing strikes me as really absurd because we're trying to break this down minute by minute. So we have to kind of talk about every single thing that happens. But yes,
Well,
that's indeed what has happened.
I'm just setting up for what is going to happen.
About to happen. That's true. Hey, no, I love it. I'm not complaining.
Because then she said, "How do you do, Inspector?" And she reaches her right hand out.
Yes,
and
like to shake his hand.
like you would, and he awkwardly has to shake her hand with his left hand.
Well, you say has to. He could also say something.
He could, but
Yeah,
I
but
think
he doesn't, and she's baffled.
He's too proud and polite, I think,
That's
to do
true.
that, and she's baffled by this.
She has no idea why he does that.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah.
It's obvious to her. So that she's doing some acting there, which is good for her.
Well,
Because
good for Josephine,
Hutchinson,
Well, we like her a lot.
we do, and I like her in this movie, and
Yeah.
I've talked about how she saves certain scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't gotten there yet, and going through this minute by minute, what I'm more struck by is sort of how thankless this role is at this point.
It
And
is.
it's
I think I've commented on that years ago
When we
started
Son
we
of
were talking about one of the previous films.
Oh,
We were
okay,
talking about
sure.
the Elizabeths, and I said that Elsa doesn't have much to do.
right.
It's unfortunate
Yes.
because she's great. Like we talked about when they're on the train, he's ranting and she's doing her best to just ignore him.
Welcome to minute 22,
Yeah.
because I think we've
Yeah.
got more of that
there's
here.
More of that, exactly. That's what I was leading up
But
to.
the first thing she does is, I think she plays it really well. She plays it like she has no idea why he reaches out with his left hand. And
Yeah.
presumably on set, she was aware.
was totally
of why.
aware, yeah.
So yes,
Yeah.
it's acting.
No, it is acting. Yeah, Josephine gets a little acting in, and she invites him to dinner.
And he says, "Madam,
He's
and then
about
turns
to
around.
refuse,
Yeah.
I think, because of his previous conversation.
A little run in. Well, that
Yeah.
was what I wrote here. Is he
Yeah.
going to say, I couldn't possibly? And then
Yeah.
what I've decided he's going to say is, Madam, I don't think the Baron would approve.
Something
or
like
something
that.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Because clearly I got some business with this guy. He doesn't like
He
it.
doesn't like-
And then
yeah.
he suddenly goes, nah. No,
Yeah,
this is
fuck-
great.
fuck
I got
him.
an invite to come back.
I'm gonna
say, yeah,
that'd be
good
delightful.
deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, Crow, not just at will. Maybe I should address, since I've mentioned Felicity once already, I should address that Felicity finally watched the movie.
Yeah, that's
and didn't like it. She was very...
Well, she didn't say she didn't like it. She just felt the pacing was bad.
Yeah.
Which is 100%
Well, she was messaging
accurate.
me while she was watching
was
it.
she?
I mean, maybe I
Oh,
could
okay.
share some secrets from that weren't meant to be
peel back the
weren't meant to
curtain.
be shared publicly.
We'll peel back the curtain here at Frankenstein Minute to
so
allow
let's
you
see
to peek
here.
into the inner workings.
Well, it's just not my place to share this. She shared it with me in confidence, and I'm going to break that confidence.
Perfect.
Just started watching Son of Frankenstein. They look like Tyroleans. Who writes this poo? And then 20 minutes later, Igor has just shown Wolf the monster. And that's all she says. And then 20 minutes later, he's now walking and not liking how he looks in reflection. And then I like the bullshit explanation that the lightning also exposed him to cosmic rays. And then she says later, I'm not used to seeing Rathbone as such a weak man. And then 10 minutes later, when she's done, she writes, well, that was a movie. So, not a fan.
Oh, I love this woman.
Yes.
Never met her, but
Well, I suppose not. Okay. She's been here. She's been to Minnesota a few times, but she doesn't live here. She lives in Indiana.
right.
What was the point of all that?
No idea. Yeah,
Well, that Atwill is a big component in. Well, that's her review essentially. Is Atwill
yeah,
is the best part of this movie.
and I don't disagree. And Lugosi, I think
that's a really good point.
The two of them
That's a really good point.
are the definitely the stars of the film. And I like her comment of not used to seeing Rathbone as such a weak man, and that's probably put the finger on the point I've been trying to make poorly over the last 20 weeks. Is that he kind of is.
Okay.
And usually he's much more self-assured. He's self-assured but misguided here. And throughout, we'll see that. He constantly makes the wrong decisions and says the wrong things. And usually he's much more decisive and more on point. And I think it's because we're so used to him as Sherlock Holmes.
I don't disagree with any of this, and I think it's a great movie. This is what's great about this conversation about Basil Rathbone, I'm finding after 22 weeks of this. And, engaging with people online, including Dino, who's still listening for some reason.
Hasn't completely thrown his hands up and walked away.
I love everything you just said. That's exactly what's happening in this movie. It's fucking great. Good.
Okay.
Love it.
All right.
I mean, you didn't say a syllable that I disagree with. That's what the role is, and that's what he's playing, and that's how the movie plays out. If you don't like that in a movie, that's fine.
I don't dislike it. I don't say I just don't dislike it. I dislike the character, and I'm not sure you're supposed to like the character because he's not very sympathetic.
He's not a sympathetic character. That's true.
So,
the movie is called Son of Frankenstein,
Yeah.
and that's the guy you don't like.
Yeah. You're supposed to take this journey with him because it's his movie.
Yeah,
But
it's like the movie M. You don't like M.
Oh, I don't know.
Is that not his name in that movie? I can't remember.
What is his name? I can't remember.
Does he have a name? Starts with an M, doesn't it?
No. It's
Have I missed the point of M?
M is for
Murderer?
Murderer.
Yeah, good point. I forgot. Jason now she's shaking his head. He's like, fucking really? Have you never seen M? Yeah, I've seen it like 80 times.
Yeah.
Nosferatu. You don't like him. It doesn't matter. The point is, you don't have to like.
No, you don't have to like the
Rathbone in
title.
this
You don't have to
movie.
like the title character. There are other characters
But
around him.
I guess it
that
goes
are,
more than that. You could also have a movie where the title character is unlikable and he's meant to be unlikable, and that ruins the movie. That can happen.
That can happen.
And I don't feel that happens here. I feel
I
like
don't think
Basil Rathbone's
No, I
performance
don't
is a
think it
good one.
ruins the movie because there are so many other characters that you do like or that are
Compelling.
more compelling. Yeah.
All right.
Definitely. All right. Well, that's minute 22.
But again, I think we've gotten to the maybe this is going to take 99 weeks for me to sort out what the problem is, because I still find him compelling. I find him to be one of the compelling characters in it. Igor is more or less consistent all the way through. Atwill is more or less. I'm sorry, I get distracted when I call one character by the character name, then I call the other character by the actor's name. Krog and Igor are more or less consistent all the way through. The monster appears in the film, but we wouldn't know it.
Wouldn't know it.
And then Rathbone's character I also find compelling. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, he does sort of, kind of, maybe change and grow towards the end.
Yeah.
But it's literally in the last 10 minutes.
Okay, so change and grow is absolutely a way to have a character arc.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. He doesn't. This movie for me isn't a movie about a guy who changes and grows,
No, it's
and we
not.
agree that doesn't happen.
Not at all.
It does. Something stupid happens at the end where we'll get there.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more of a descent into madness more than that. And there are better movies that portray a descent into madness. I'm not trying to say watch Son of Frankenstein. You're going to see an
It's a
amazing
textbook example of.
You're going to see an amazing tale of a man's descent into madness. But it is one of the things that kind of happens.
Yes.
And it's all laid out right here. Every fucking thing he says. We just talked about it last week when he's talking to
Krog.
Atwill, Inspector Atwill. Sorry, I'm just losing my mind.
You, Inspector, you better.
Oh boy.
How many Patreons have we lost now?
That's the title of the episode. You Inspector, you brought her.
Oh, thank you. Write
That one's
down.
done.
I can make the graphic when I get home. I don't have to edit the episode until I...
So then Inspector Atwill leaves, and Josephine Hutchinson says, "Wasn't he odd?" And she has a very natural way of speaking.
Again, I think she's great. Yeah.
And she's right. He is odd.
He is odd.
All that stuff that just happened at the doorway to her is completely without explanation.
Like no idea why he behaved that way.
Yeah. Somehow,
her,
she went from standing at the top of that mountain. I guess it takes a while to get down those stairs.
Yeah.
She's missed the previous whatever you called it.
6 minutes.
40 minutes. 40 minutes of them yelling at each other and shit, banging on the walls. She's like, "What the fuck is going on down there?" And then expects everything's fine. I guess I don't know. It's a big house.
It is.
But I also like that.
Oh dear God.
I like that they seem to like each other. She seems to like Wolf. She's confiding in Wolf by saying, "Well, wasn't he odd?" It's like sharing a private joke.
I think
someone leaves the room. Like every time when you leave the room, and then Jackie and I go, "God, he's such a weirdo." I'm sorry, I have no idea. I should have made myself in that one.
No, that's perfectly fine.
That's true.
That's perfectly fine.
How weirdo. Did you see how weird he was? But that is what's happening here. They're sharing that moment. That's a cool thing to see in a movie. I think to show that they have some connection.
I think they have more of a connection than Henry and Elizabeth did.
Yeah, right. They have nothing like that. I think there are a couple of moments. I shouldn't say that. In the first film, Elizabeth is deeply concerned about Henry, and there's some moments there that give you that impression.
But Henry doesn't necessarily reciprocate that.
Just barely. We've talked about it
he does
2 years ago.
He does much more so in Mad Love
to
Francis Drake. He shows her much more affection than Henry shows Elizabeth.
Yeah, right.
And I think it goes down to Henry being scared to death of heterosexual procreation.
You're not making that up.
I just watched Frankenstein again. Sven Gulli had it on. What, be a month ago now?
Yeah.
And I just had it on and completely ignored his asinine antics and watched the film.
Okay, so I don't watch Sven Gulli, but here's my take on it. I think it's great that people do watch Sven Gulli. I'm glad he's there.
All right, yes.
And I think that is not just part of what he's doing, that he's presenting himself in that way. That is all that he's doing. He's presenting himself as a old school horror host with a sense of humor that goes back to like the 30s or something.
Yeah.
And he could do Who's on First on there, and you'd be like, well, a little too clever for you.
Yeah.
But I'm not. None of that is actually meant to be a criticism. He's infrequently funny. Like our podcast.
Yeah, like
Sven Gulli is infrequently funny and comforting. There's a comfort that comes along with it.
I'm certain that's it.
It's like, yeah.
I'm certain that's it.
In my dotage, as I sink deeper and deeper into dementia, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, the
old
old gray matter just ain't what it used to be. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree that he is providing a service. It's also making these films available to a wider audience than they probably would have.
I have a friend that I used to work with when I worked at that airline, and we don't hardly talk at all.
That will remain nameless.
That nameless airline, and we barely talk. But the other day, Sven Gulli had Bud Abbott, Lucas Dellamy, Frankenstein, and I messaged her that it was going to be on, and then I went and did something because I'm usually not sitting around watching TV at that time.
7 o'clock on a Saturday night. Yeah. Usually, I just happened to be the time he showed Frankenstein.
If we're going to go out to dinner, that's probably when we're going to go out to dinner. That kind of thing. And she was messaging me during it because she was watching it, and I was like, exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
just that. It's great.
Yeah, it makes it available to someone who may not normally seek it out. And that's great. That's a service he's providing. I just wish he would update his material. That's all.
Let's get in touch with him.
Yeah, all right.
Undesirable characters. Are you there yet, or did I skip ahead?
Not quite. Because,
all right, go ahead. This is the Bill Skips Ahead of Tom podcast. I should just wait for you to go.
Constantly jumping ahead.
And you leave it in, too, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'm just going to... Everything I can do in
make
post-production
to make
you
look
look...
Yes. Surprisingly not that hard.
I really don't have to do much of anything. No, you should see what I cut out.
Oh, oof.
They say the villagers bother us. He would take a hand. Is that an intentional pun?
Oh, that's cute.
You know, there should be a rim shot.
I never thought of that. That's fucking great. This is, again, periodically I remember why we do this podcast. It's for you to tell me things. I never noticed that.
He would take a hand.
Yeah, that's
there
great.
Should be a rim shot in there. And if they would have had the time to re-edit it after the preview, I'm sure Kent would have put one in there.
A rim shot?
Yep.
Yep.
I'm going to now, on my copy that I have on my digital.
Wasn't he odd?
Yes, he said that if the villagers bothered us, he'd take a hand.
Gosh, that is what that is too. There's no getting around.
No, I doubt it was an intentional
Oh, really?
pun. I doubt it, but it has always struck me as funny.
It is funny. It's
Yeah.
great. I mean,
Because it's not
I'm
that
like
kind of
struck by it. It's so good it is.
It's not that kind of movie that they would throw that kind of a joke in there.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I don't think.
yeah,
it's,
you're right. Probably.
I don't think it's deliberate, but
I don't know. There's some jokey stuff later with Igor and stuff. So I could.
yeah,
see.
but those are like deliberate.
Yeah, those are like
him-
rich cause style.
No. It's him being It's been ghoulie level jokes, but hey,
Oy.
they're,
Maybe Elvira level.
they're both
all right.
both okay.
That's
they're
funny.
fine.
They're fine. Just like
just like this podcast.
this podcast. He'll take a hand.
Undesirable characters.
We seem to be undesirable characters.
Oh,
We're not there yet.
yeah. No, I'm just trying to decipher what the hell I wrote here.
Yep.
Oh, they'll come around once they get to know us.
I like that because he doesn't disagree that they're undesirable characters.
Yeah. He
completely
does not
doesn't
say,
argue with
"Oh,
it. Well, they'll come around.
they'll come around." What assholes we are.
It's
They'll
true. They hate us.
Yeah.
There's no getting around.
Well, and I think, maybe some of what Krog has talked about has sunk in. And he was too proud to let Krog know that.
This
I don't know.
Okay, this is something this is what I meant last week, and you know, if I didn't make it clearer, I think that is it right there. They are undesirable characters, and Krog is there to say, "I'll be there when you need a hand." Because clearly there is going to be trouble. I can see this is not going to go well. And his argument is, "Fuck you, I'm great. I'm not doing anything. Get out of here." And that's not the point. The point isn't that at all. The point is you're undesirable characters. And he admits it.
He
but he doesn't
finally,
care. He's just going to be an obstinate prick because that's all he is.
I'm not going to do a thing. They'll come around. I'm not going to make.
They'll come around.
I'm not going to make the slightest bit of effort. They'll come around.
I don't know. He makes a little bit of effort at the train station, and boy, do they shit
Oh,
on him.
did that?
He kept trying though. I thought he,
and maybe that's where the
we want so much to be your friends.
Please.
He really did try.
He did. Maybe
desperately tried.
That's where the chip on his shoulder comes from.
Yeah.
I did everything I could to make these people like me, and they were dicks.
Right.
Okay,
Not
fine.
wrong.
All right. Then we get another big thunderclap and lightning strike in the same place that it's been striking for the last 20 minutes.
I actually wrote, probably. I didn't notice that this time, but I actually wrote in all caps, dramatic thunder crash.
Oh, that's the Castle Thunder sound effect again.
Yeah.
Which shows up in this film a lot.
Yeah. It's a very thundery, lightning-y.
It's again a famous soundbite that has been used. It's still in use today as a sound effect.
It's a classic. What can you do?
I hear it I've heard it in kids were watching cartoons or something, and like, I know that thunderclap. Mel Brooks uses it as a good punctuation a couple times in Young Frankenstein.
Sure, you're right. Well, it's a punctuation here.
It is definitely a punctuation here.
Works here.
But it sets up the next conversation.
Well, he says when they get to know us a little better, I think it'll be interesting to see whether they change their attitude when they do get to know him a little better. That's another thing we'll have to keep an eye on. So far, we've got a bell tower, and see if they... I got a little bit more hope for the second.
Well, yeah, what's your bell update for this episode?
Oh, that's right, Bill's bell update. Time for Bill's bell
I'll
update.
have to find some music in the sound effect for that.
Bill's bell update for week 22. No bell yet.
Okay.
But it's still early going. It's only been a week.
We're only
in 1 minute.
Barely a quarter
Krog's
into
still he's still trying to get that fucking K-pop. This movie.
He's standing in the hall. Benson is like waving his arms like, I can help you. He's like, I got this. Fuck off. God damn it.
Fucking Tyroleans. No, he's not a
hear him
Tyrolean.
cursing the way Kemp does when he leaves when his arm is stuck up.
Bell update. Gotta come up with a name for it.
Again, we've lost more Patreons.
Yes, right. Well, the Patreons, that's another reason to sign up to be a Patreon. I'll give Bill's Bell update. I can do Bill's like daily.
You can, if you join at the
We can have a new level, Bill's Bell update level.
$5 a month
Bill will email you personally
every day
to let you know, no bell.
No bell yet.
No bell yet.
I'm going to step out for a minute. We'll finish this.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
All right.
What a dreadful story about awful lightning.
Yeah, she doesn't like it at
No,
all.
she's not a fan.
And that's one way to be. Sure, it's not good.
I personally love a big
Yeah,
thunderstorm.
I think we've talked about that.
Yeah,
We talked about on the podcast. We both saw the same lightning crash on the way to work.
Yep.
Yeah. But I don't. It's certainly harmful. The lightning can do great harm. And can kill people.
Well, it's Wolf thinks it's magnificent.
Yeah.
So, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree here. Because Henry used those exact terms that it was going to be a magnificent storm.
Oh, that's awesome. Because when you say that, my first thought is it didn't fall too far after that either. Because Peter loves it.
Peter loves it.
lightning.
Yeah. It's part of the Frankenstein heritage, apparently.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I cross to the window and look out at the storm, and nothing in nature is terrifying when one understands it.
Sounds like something that idiot from Grizzly Man would say.
Yeah, because, tornadoes, hurricanes,
plenty.
tsunamis, volcanoes, wildfires, earthquakes, tidal waves, quicksand, mudslides, none of that is terrifying when you understand it.
That's true. If you understand quicksand,
nothing
you just say,
terrifying.
well, isn't this interesting? Blah, 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 blah.
None of that's terrifying. When
Hey, are
you're
we going to see, when do we get to quicksand? About 3 years?
Yeah, more than that. More than
4
that,
years.
yeah.
Yeah, so look forward to that.
Look
We have a
forward to
great
the quicksand.
quicksand scene coming.
I could have Tom's quicksand update if you do your bell update.
Tom's quicksand update. What, you got a theme for that too?
Yeah, I'll find
What's the
something.
sound? Quicksand. Miss Boris saying that. Quicksand. Quicksand. Is that what he says? He repeats
He
it.
repeats something. It's the same thing
says it,
looped
yeah, they
over.
just
It's like
loop
at the
it.
end of Bud Abbott, Lou Costello. Untie the boat.
Yeah.
Untie the boat, will you? Untie the boat, will you, please? It's the same.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think he says something like quicksands. He says something weird, and they repeat it over and over.
Well, when we
Doesn't
get to
matter.
the end of House of Frankenstein,
we're not.
we'll
You know
find
what?
out.
You're just trying to jump on the coattails of Bill's Bell update.
I know.
I'm not going to tolerate
Johnny come lately here.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I'm gonna pay the Patreons back this week.
Dino will be getting a check for $2
Yeah,
in the
everybody's
mail.
getting a check in the mail.
I drew that
all right.
very lightning from the heaven and forced it to his own will to bring life to a being that he created with his own
And
hands.
You're making a fist. You're doing the hand motion.
yeah,
he
because
does that
he
thing.
does those. Yeah,
He does. Yeah, with his right hand.
And again, it comes Henry. I don't know how many times I was
I
actually
think it's almost inadvertent when Krog leaves the room. He makes you want to use
when
your right
you use
hand
your right
a lot.
hand a lot.
Like,
Yeah.
make
Well, I
you
wonder
feel
if
like a big
if
man.
they call cut and pinky's off to the side, like flailing his arm around. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Got to get that video podcast going.
Yep. I wonder. I was going to find out. We're going to go through and like how many times Henry says "with my own hands." It's at least 3 or 4 times in the 2 films.
Yeah.
So that's
he
a
looks
theme.
at his hands and yeah.
Made it with my own hands.
Think of it, Fritz, and Fritz is like, yeah, look at those fucking hands. This is
man.
great.
Nice.
Nice hands.
Nice.
Noise. And then while he's saying that, I like that it's 22 minutes in, and Hutchinson's already established herself as someone who stares straight ahead, while Wolf
goes off on a tangent,
until
yeah.
finally, at some point, she starts to just look at him with concern. Like that's her
yeah.
relationship with him.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's pretty.
you okay, buddy?
You should know better than anyone. That's what happens. I go off on a tangent. Don
That's
just
true.
sort
Until
of,
I finally. Oh, Don.
Don
Not
just
even me.
Don just sort of stares off. Like,
Yep.
Then eventually, like, okay, maybe we should wrap
man.
this up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were actually right until the last 3 sentences where you said you were going to do,
Yeah.
Why should we fear anything? Are you there, that one yet? That's the last line, right?
yeah.
Wolf always has to take it too far. He's actually, up until that line, it's fine. You know what I
He's
mean?
more or less right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what? Oh, Wolf, You'll find out why.
Yep.
And that's where the minute ends.
There you go. Follow us on Twitter.
Well, he talks about lightning, and Henry drew the lightning from heaven, and blah blah blah, and that has become such a thing in
on the Franken-Cups.
It's on the Franken-Cup right here.
It's on my Franken-Cup
The
candy.
lightning shooting out from these dildos.
Still haven't eaten the Bill's Franken-Cup update. It's 2 weeks. We still haven't eaten the Franken-Cup.
They're still sitting here.
Do you like Reese's peanut butter cup?
I like the smaller ones like this, not the
good.
big one. I could not eat a big one.
Okay.
It's like why I had never had like Count Chocula or Frankenberry as a kid. It's the
much?
No, the marshmallows. It was like eating wet chalk.
Okay.
It's that texture I don't
This
like.
doesn't. Well, I guess the peanut butter is kind of.
Peanut butter's kind of chalky too, and I'm not a huge
God.
fan. Those little
Podcast
ones.
is doomed.
Little ones
no
like
way we can.
little ones like this. What is this? Half an ounce. That's perfect.
All right. Well, maybe we'll eat those. Maybe if we get enough Patreons,
We'll eat the whole
we
bag.
can eat a piece of candy.
If we get
On air.
If we'll do like a telethon or like the public radio fundraisers. If we reach our goal of 100 new Patreons, we'll eat the entire bag.
Wow.
In an episode.
Yep. There you go.
So I throw the gauntlet down. Who would not want to hear us eating
God.
candy for 20 minutes?
We haven't even found time to eat one piece.
Yeah, right.
All right. That's it. Go to patreon.com/Frankenstein Minute and do the thing.
Get 100 friends to join up.
Yep. That's all it takes.
We'll eat this entire.
And we'll eat candy.
Yeah. Almost 10 ounces of candy. That's 5 ounces of candy apiece.
Ugh. Well, I mean, I obviously would defer if you wanted to have 6. I could have.
No.